Your Minnesota Vikings certainly have not been shy about hiding their intention of looking to select a quarterback in this year's 2023 class. Now, I understand, why draft a quarterback this year? Next year's class is better. Oh, yeah, which will be great because no one's going to want a quarterback next year. Shocker. But you play the hand that you're dealt, and the Vikings could and should be looking to add a quarterback in this year's draft class, even though they're at the back end of the first round at 23 overall. The big four in terms of Young, Richardson, Stroud, and Levis probably are going to be gone by the time the Vikings are on the clock. Hell, maybe even Hendon Hooker. Who really knows, man? And the Vikings at 23 certainly could and should move up. They can move down. They can move all around. They can do a lot of things, right? But they are bereft of draft picks right now at 23 overall. No second rounder, no seventh rounder. So somewhere Rick Spielman is crying. But we want to go through and our top 10. Again, this is our top 10. This is no one else's top 10. How we rank the quarterbacks in this class, as well as where we would feel comfortable the Vikings moving on up to go get them. So how high? You have no idea how high I can fly. So how high the Vikings trade up to get these guys would we feel comfortable with? So we're going to run through this. First up, we have Bryce Young at 1. How high? Number 1. Perfectly fine with that. But, of course, that's unrealistic since Carolina already moved heaven and earth to get up to 1. But Bryce Young, if he's going to be that dude, he is that dude. He is 5'10" Joe Burrow. He drops dimes. He throws the anticipation. He is the ultimate point guard of the offense. I think if and when he lands in Carolina, he's going to do great. They're going to have a solid running game with Miles Sanders. They're going to have a solid receiving core with Chark and Thielen, etc., as well as that defense is going to be great. So I think Bryce Young is going to be a star in this league. But, I mean, people are going to be scared off by the height. People are going to be scared off more by the build. He probably walks around at a $180 soaking wet. I'm not buying this 204 BS. So I don't know, but if the Vikings want to do it, and again, this goes part and parcel with everything. The Vikings getting up into the top 4 is probably going to take 3 first-round picks, maybe even some more, maybe even some Danielle Hunter. But again, if Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi adofo-mensah determine that that's the guy, go get your guy. Next up, C.J. Stroud. I would feel comfortable with the Vikings moving up to 2. Houston Texans aren't really hiding the fact that since it does seem like Bryce Young is locked in at 1 with the Panthers, that they're open for business at 2. So maybe they're not as high on Stroud and Richardson and Levis as other people are. But I will be fine moving up to 2. Includes all that costs. 3 ones and change. Maybe more, who knows? But with Stroud, I think that he does have the fewest question marks around the quarterbacks in this class. I think that he does have a high floor. I think that he has a high ceiling. He's 6'3", 220. He's got good size. He's not a running quarterback, but he has enough mobility to keep things interesting. And also, yes, he's a guy that, hey, when he gets pressured, sometimes bad things happen, but that's with a lot of quarterbacks. But looking at his Georgia performance, stunning, absolutely stunning. Don't look at the Michigan game, but I do like me some C.J. Stroud. Next up, Will Richardson, the pride of Florida. How high would the Vikings go? I would feel comfortable with 2. So same package with the Texans. If the Vikings want to move up to 2 and go get your guy at Houston and 3 ones and some change, I'm okay with it, man. And frankly, you know what? It feels like we always play it safe, and this is a bet the house, bet the farm, bet everything. Why not bet it on the largest upside guy? Richardson's got the size. He's got the arm. He's got the elite mobility. He may be the most athletic quarterback in NFL Combine history, and that's not really hyperbole. So that is the gamble, right? So Kevin O'Connell's going to sit down with him for a year, learn behind Kirk Cousins. He is a student of the game, high football IQ, is a sponge, just wants to learn and absorb everything. And yeah, it was a one-year wonder at Florida. It was a hell of a 1 year. Can you build upon that? Immediately he becomes one of the greatest running threats in the league. And with that arm, if he can dial things in, baby. Next up, number 4, Will Levis. Now, of course, Will Levis and the Vikings and the Liam Cohen connection are certainly there. And if the Vikings wanted to move up to 9, I would feel okay with that. So at 9 would be the crooked Chicago Bears. So if Levis gets through Seattle, if he gets through 6, 7, 8, the Lions, the Raiders, the Falcons, and if Tennessee doesn't jump aboard, I'm okay if the Vikings move up to 9 if Chicago wants to deal, or 10 with Philly to jump ahead of the Tennessee Titans. And Levis, I mean, He's Matthew Stafford with mobility. Like, he is a gunslinger. He will take chances. A lot of his interceptions come from him just thinking that he can make a play, right? So you can certainly cut down on that, but he's got the arm. He does have accuracy. He does have some mobility as well. And also, I like his attitude. I really do like his attitudes. Also, the move up to 9-10 may only cost the Vikings 2 ones as opposed to 3 ones and change to get up into the top 4. So that's certainly intriguing as well. Next up, Hendon Hooker, number 5. 23. I'm perfectly fine sticking and picking with Hooker. Now, I understand that some people have Hooker ahead of Levis. I've sort of gone back and forth on it, but I feel like if the top 4 quarterbacks are off the board, I don't think there's enough buzz around Hooker where he would go ahead of the Vikings at 23. And if he did go, I mean, God bless him. Best of luck to him. So if the Vikings stick and pick at 23, Hendon Hooker is deemed to be the guy. I understand ACL. I understand he's old. I understand the gimmicky offense. He's got great accuracy. He's got great mobility. He's got good NFL size, 6'3", 210 and change, as well as I think that he does have the best. So Richardson has the strongest arm. I think Hendon Hooker throws the best deep ball. So combination of accuracy as well as power. So I think that, Hooker in the right system, I think that he could thrive. I really do. I understand the whole, he doesn't scan the field fully. His offense didn't require him to. And if Tillman or Hyatt is breaking wide open, why does he need to go to the third, fourth read? Why does he just take what the defense is giving him? You can't go broke taking a profit. Anyways, so that is all right. So that is my top 5. DTR, notice that DTR is a different shade of gray than the rest of them. DTR is the only and up are the 6 guys that I think if the Vikings draft this year could have a chance to start next year. All right, so we're having that cutoff. So DTR, I would feel comfortable taking him in the 3rd round. So he improved every single season at UCLA in Westwood under Chip Kelly. So yes, even though before Chip Kelly, quarterbacks sort of had a demerit against them, it's actually kind of a plus now. The way that the NFL is now adapted to the mobile quarterbacks. He's got a good arm. He's got good mobility. Solid leader. Did himself probably the most favors of any of these quarterbacks in the offseason programs, including Anthony Richardson, by the way. Threw well at the combine. Did well at his pro day. So I think that DTR certainly is an intriguing option. And if the Vikings are able to snag him in the 3rd round at 87, I go back and forth with this because 87 seems a little bit high, but if they trade back in the 3rd or if they trade up in the 4th, I would certainly be okay with either spot. Next up, Jaron Hall, the pride of BYU. Feel comfortable 4th round, about 4th or 5th round sort of area. So in between 119 and 158, somewhere in there. The pride of BYU, he's undersized, but he does have an NFL caliber arm. Plus, he does have moxie. I think that he's a guy that can scan the whole field. I think that he's a guy that can throw from sideline to sideline and is not going to have too many issues. And I think that he is going to get lost in the shuffle a little bit because of the height. Because, besides Bryce Young, everyone else is relatively good to go, except for maybe Jake Haener. But, Jaron Hall in this spot, I would not mind him at all. Next up, Tyson Bagent coming out of Shepherd. So, absolute wild card, D2. I would feel fine taking him in the 6th round. He does have NFL size. He does have a good arm. Probably the quickest release in this class. It's just snap. I like it, man. But, of course, small school competition, that is a big jump up from D2 to the National Football League. And Bagent, could you see him being a QB3 with some upside down the line, like a multi-year development? Sure. Could he develop into a Tony Romo type guy? Maybe. But, you're not betting on him in 2024. That's for sure. Next up, Jake Haener, number 9, coming out of Fresno State. Would feel comfortable in the 6th. So, again, the Vikings in the 6th round are at 211. Not the strongest arm in the world, Haener, but high football IQ, formerly committed to Washington, ended up at Fresno State. I think that, everyone's looking for the next Brock Purdy. Jake Haener is kind of fitting the mold of the Brock Purdy. He's a guy who's going to be a late round draft pick, and maybe he comes in and he knows what he doesn't know, and he takes what the defense gives him. He's really good at handing off. He's really good at making safe throws and not and taking care of the football. He could be that type of guy. And then lastly, Tanner McKee. 7th round. So I'm not as high on Tanner McKee as a lot of people are. Some people have McKee as a round 2 guy. I don't quite see it. Even though seems like a good kid, he's got great size, he's got a big arm, but statue in the pocket, and he doesn't have the best pocket awareness, so that's a really bad combination. Where you can be a statue in the pocket. I mean, Dan Marino couldn't move, but at least he had pocket awareness. So I don't know. Like, do we see him as another like Sean Mannion type quarterback? It's possible. So 7th round UDFA, whatever. And the rest of the quarterbacks, I mean, 7th round UDFA, whatever. But even though the Vikings don't have a 7th round pick, yeah, I know. But that's it. That's a look at our top 10 quarterbacks in this class and how high we would feel comfortable with if the Vikings went up and go get them. That's not English. Anyways, let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.